You've got stuff in the background that is busy. The exposure is not good. Your angle on this animal is not appropriate. You've got a building on the left that means nothing. So this is a cute little picture that you took on your vacation, but as for an artistic picture you would put in competition, I don't think it's very strong.
Shattered. $20.
The subject is well described, obviously, but technical issues are the focus. This is really blurred all through here. I'm having, the background of course should be, but what should the subject itself just isn't sharp enough to grab your attention. The lighting is good on the subject. Grandpa Grubbs is showing specular. I'm not sure that bothers me. I think that kind of adds a little bit. I'm not sure that bothers me too much. But you've got the rim light here is too strong, and that really draws your eye up into the sharp edges up there.
Pink slipper. $20.
This is a really unique looking orchid, and especially with these little spiny goobers on here. It looks almost like a cactus on an orchid. This is what bothers me up here. It's out of focus, a little bit hot. This portion down here is great. This bothers me a little bit down here as well. As far as being in the center, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, you want to get some symmetry to it vertically and horizontally. Depth of field is okay. But again, I think you need to change your angle to try and get this sharpened up as well.
If you want symmetry,
1,000-yard stare. $26.
The name of it just fits it so well. Clarity, the composition, everything. I love. I mean, it's a great shot.
I like the use of the black and white on this. It really
Yes.
makes it, really adds to the picture. That being black and white really makes it even stronger.
Yeah, this is Glenn Bailey's shot. And he was pointing out this little sutures on the guy's schnoz here. Is that gut kaut?
And the angle of his head is
Yeah.
very strong. It looks right out of World War II.
Neither rain nor snow. $19.
Exposure is very good for this. Your depth of field is outstanding. Everything is in focus it should be. I think your colors and your tone are just off a bit. Yes, I know it's steam, but the blacks need to pop up a bit more. He needs to pop out a little bit more to get it. I think the other problem is that in terms of impact, you've got him kind of just standing there with the oil can, and I'm having trouble putting that into an artistic sense. It's more of a capturing him shooting that. When we've shot some of these guys before, we've paid them money. We've slipped them 10, 20 bucks and kind of get in here and get his arm, get part of the train. You know, this doesn't really tell the story. That doesn't tell the story. Story is in here, and you really want to concentrate more in there.
The whole thing.
Yeah, but then you really...
Well, yeah, you would have blown the sky up, but I still would have rather seen the whole locomotive in there. This guy putting his oil can up there.
Yeah, but the story is there.
Well, true. The whole thing's a story.
All right, guys, go on.
The web for bravery. $21.
It's an interesting architectural shot. Symmetry isn't too bad on it. I mean, you got smaller on that side than you do this side, and this is a little bit askew, but you know, when you get into this stuff, it's all artistic impersonation anyway, so it's kind of cool. I would like to see this more of a blue than sort of a purple color.
Stop, stop and smell the lilacs. $18.
It's a beautiful subject. I'd like to see a little bit more detail in the butterfly. It looks pretty on the flowers. The color of the flowers are really pretty, but this, it's right here is what's distracting, because I keep wanting to look over here, and we need to be looking like right here.
When you're shooting like that, if you're able to, if you have a diffuser, that'll make all the difference in the world. You can shoot at bright times of the day, but the light needs to be diffused out, and that would pop your subject more.
A shadow of its former self. $20.
Exposure and focus are dead on. The colors in the building are strong, giving you that sense of an old building. The story is just really clear. I mean, it tells a good story, and you can see the dilapidation reflected all through here.
Yellowstone Mountains. $23.
I like the image as a black and white, but what bothers me is the snow. It looks awful gray. I would like to see that a lot brighter. It seems bright over here, but dark over there, like it's like a train went by and blew soot on it. It's all dark in there. That just, I don't know. Snow's got to be white. If you're in Yellowstone, you can bet it's like pure white up there.
Buttermilk Falls. $26.
Gorgeous subject. Love the waterfall, how it gives this silk effect. It takes up the screen. This here, I mean, this is the only part. It looks a little bit hot, but I mean, I love how yeah, that would have taken away from the.
What did you say?
No two density
Yeah.
filter.
Yeah, you know, when you're shooting images like this, and you've got different shade, different lighting. Up here it's bright, but that actually isn't where you're interested. You want to be in here. So, for example, you can use a split neutral density filter, and you can darken the sky at the time of shooting. Or if you use like Color Effects Pro, you can use they have a split neutral density that'll darken that for you, and it'll really bring you into the waterfall. And then for those of you who don't know, this is done with a long exposure. That's how you get the beautiful water here. And whenever you shoot waterfalls, you can play with the exposure times and get all sorts of different effects that are very artsy.
Diversity. $21.
The exposure on the subject is right on. However, the depth of field here is an issue because you've got everybody in focus, and in doing so, you've got all the distracting background in focus. This repetitive subject here is very strong, and I'm just trying to think of a way to really focus in on here and to get away from everything else. Darkening up this in post-processing, getting rid of that because straight lines always draw your eyes. Cutting the white up here, cutting it off here, darkening up a bit would make you start with this person, a female, and just go all the way back there. That's exactly what you want to do. Maybe stepping to the left a little bit and closing this off and opening it up so that your curve begins more to the right of the frame would even make it stronger.
Very photojournalistic though, that one. You know, it's very photojournalistic. It's a story of something, but it makes you wonder, why are they doing that? What are they doing this for? All this, it makes you want to ask more questions.
Sunrise over Chautauqua Farm. "26.
This is a this is a nice nice image. It's nice lines. This goes out this way to the barn, over to the house, back around. The line of trees does the same thing up around here and around there. Nice image. Hmm? What's that?
Yeah,
Oh.
Not really. It's a reflection. It belongs there. It's, white Photoshop everything.
Conneaut Harbor. "21.
I like it as a black and white, and I like the reflection down in the water, and you get that faint in the background, and you get the lighthouse back there.
Red Fox. "26.
I think this shot really encapsulates kind of the importance of, the important features of nature photography. Exposure is just beautiful. Soft light, the colors pop, the red fox, I mean, there's no question about his color. The depth of field is right on your subject. You catch the eyes. It's off center. It's in a very strong area. The nice body here. This can be out of focus. The tail can be in focus because that's your plane. That just adds to the depth here, gives you depth, and you just get caught right up here with a very strong impact.
Albemarle Sound at dusk. "21.
What I like about this photograph is basically in this area, this is to me a little bit too dark and muddy. Here is just totally black. This is kind of gray. It's dark over here. You have this ominous tree. You might have wanted to try this crop right in right there. That's, I think, where your shot's at.
Foggy morning on Golden Lake. "24.
I love the artifact, how the sun has that brushed look, and how you have the reflection down on the water. It's very, I like how the boats are right here, but I wish they were like, you saw just a little bit more of that line right there to define it. It's very, very pretty.
Last gasp. "26.
This is beautiful. I mean, the exposure, the colors, the contrast is all just perfect. The way it's lit, even giving you the nice light, just the nice light right here. The only complaint I've got is you've got it in this big with this white frame, and that is kind of compressing, is putting the leaf into this box, and I think artistically having it more open would add a bit, maybe moving it over just a little bit rather than put it centered in a box, but other than that, excellent.
Autumn at Freedom Falls. '26.
A lot of great waterfall shots tonight. These are waterfalls are always one of my favorite things to photograph. Not always the easiest to find, but very nice lines lead you right back up and up into the forest.
The End of a Century. '21.
Beautiful color. I love how the sky is with the blue and the way the clouds are. And even the grass, or I don't know what you call that stuff, leaves. And I like how the shadow is on some of the mountains here. This here kind of has that painterly look in a way.
The Great Hall. '22.
We were talking earlier about the symmetry of architecture, and this looks about as symmetrical as it gets. It's pretty darn symmetrical here. That's what you want to do when you do this kind of shot. This has been HDR, so I think everybody, if you're familiar, everybody should be familiar. So there are multiple shots that have been taken and put together to create this. There are different ways then to process HDR. You can do it realistically. You can do it with a bit of a grunge look. And these textures in here are more of a grunge look. The problem when you do grunge look is you also get rid of your mid-tone contrast. So you really have lost a lot of the mid-tone contrast. You have just kind of one note contrast here.
Old Man's Creek Falls.
Man, I seem like I'm getting waterfalled here. Another decent waterfall, but the trouble is there's a little. Oh,
To vote first.
huh.
Oh, I tell you.
He's just anxious to
I
talk.
know.
17.
I see waterfalls, I get gaga. Any rate, it's a little hot, and it's just really the waterfalls right here. I don't know why you need all this stuff here, this big bright rock over here. Just try to crop in a little bit, get this maybe right in there, and darken it down a little bit.
Purse Lane. '22.
Really like flowers, I should shoot more of them. I like the pink. Pinks can tend to be difficult to shoot because they always take a break. This here seems to be really in focus, and this seems to be not quite as clear. I don't know if it was going for a painterly look. It kind of looks like a painterly look in a way. It's very pretty.
Ring of Fire. '20.
Exposure, depth of field is outstanding. Your colors just pop, obviously, because of the subject matter. I think it's more of an issue of framing. This is just dead center, and that is it's strong, but it's not strong enough to make it kind of stand out dead center. I think that putting it off a little bit, maybe not including everything possibly, or cropping it off somewhat here. Verticals suggested, something that would just make it pop just a little bit more. I sure hope you have more in this series.
Snap. $19.
This one here, I think the exposure could have been darkened down a little bit. It's too much in the center to suit me. I mean, he's too much vertical in here. You might have just cropped it off here and have him on the left side of the frame, or vice versa. Go this way. Probably would be better. Seems a little bit soft. Of course, he's moving, so it's going to be soft.
Autumn sunrise on Wind Farm. $25.
Beautiful shot, beautiful color. I love the windmills in the back. Those are absolutely gorgeous. And Red Barn, of course. Red Barn is absolutely great. But you got the fog in the background, and you got the lines from the landscape in the back, and you can still see a hint of the trees back there as well.
Mellow yellow. $22.
I love these. Your exposure is outstanding, your colors are strong, maybe a little bit too much yellow, but that's probably more the projector. The bee is in tack sharp focus. You've got a proboscis right here, catching action, all the pollen on him. Look how beautifully blurred out back here you are with the other flowers filling in the gaps. I think it's a good, strong, artistic image.
Kite surfing. $21.
Exposure is real good on this. Nice lines to it. The only problem I have is I would have rather seen the guy coming toward me rather than going away from me. That's the only thing that bothers me about that.
Lower
You missed
Falls.
it by one.
Letchworth State Park.
Is that you?
$22.
You want to do the water? You can do the water.
Jack, just give me the waterfall.
Yeah, they're yours.
I like the composition of it, but I think it's just a little bit overexposed. I think this could have been darkened down a bit. But the water is nice. Yeah, polarizers work real well on doing waterfalls. Well, I know that's the problem with a lot of times with our projector. You show them on your screen at home, and they look absolutely delightful, and then you put them up here, and they lose on the exposure end of it. But it's hard to tell if it is or isn't. You might have wanted